Hello,
and welcome to the
next stop.
We started this part of our journey in Maine. The first small town we were in was Booth Bay Harbor.
That's right.
We stayed at a Harvest Host in Booth Bay that was a brewery, and we went into the little town, which was really nice. And then we moved campgrounds, and the second place we stayed was Paul Bunyan Campground. And we went into Bay Harbor, which was very pretty, and we enjoyed very much. We had never been to Maine before, and so it was beautiful.
And that's where we had our first lobster roll.
Yes, which was delicious. I like my lobster hot with butter, but the lobster roll was very good.
Expensive.
Yes, very expensive. But anyway, Phil is going to talk a little bit about the national park we saw there.
Yeah, right outside of Bar Harbor, Maine, is a national park. It's Acadia National Forest, and it is a very nice park. It's a large park, a lot of walking trails and all, but it was one of those parks you could spend all day. It even had a beach that we went to that Molly got to dip her toes into the cold water. I think the water was around 46 degrees when we were there. It was real foggy, so you couldn't really see much when we were at Bar Harbor or at this national park. It was real foggy. But one thing I wanted to mention on this one is this was one of those occasions that my lifetime senior pass to national parks came in handy, because it didn't cost us anything to get into the park, which was, I think, around $25 a piece.
But the lifetime pass that he has, I believe you spent $85 on.
$80, yes.
And you have to be 65.
No, 62 or older.
62 or older.
Yes,
but
I'm not 65 yet.
That's true. But it's very much worth the money that we've spent. We've used it quite a bit going to Alaska and back, and on this trip up the East Coast.
Right. And then we left Bar Harbor, and then we went on over to
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire, yeah.
And in New Hampshire is where we took the COG train.
COG Railway.
Up Mount Washington.
Which Mount Washington happens to be the tallest mountain on the East Coast.
This was a over 6,000 feet journey up on this COG train, which is just a little bit pricey, but I very much recommend it. You go all the way up to Mount Washington and get off the train and see the observatory up there. It was foggy and rainy that day, but they do say if it's a clear day, you can see almost 3 states from the top of the mountain. There is a way that you can drive up Mount Washington, but we've heard from several people that that's a little scary and treacherous. So yes, we chose to take the COG train, and that was a lot of fun. It was interesting. We had never done anything like that before, and Phil will have all kinds of pictures from that.
Yes, but it was a nice trip, and once we left there, we went on over to Vermont, which if you have been following the news, you know they've been having a lot of rain and flooding, and we just happened to
be there during all of that.
So.
But it didn't affect our trip much. We seemed to be just on the outskirts of all of the flooding that happened there. But we did get to go and see one of the oldest covered bridges in the United States and drive over it.
The longest covered bridge, yeah.
And in fact, when you go from one side to the next, you are in Vermont. When you start through the covered bridge, when you get to the other side, you're in New Hampshire. So,
or if you're coming from New Hampshire, to Vermont.
Yeah, backwards. But so that was fun. And then we stayed at 2 Harvest Hosts back to back. One of them was in Pattersonville, New York, and it was the Dadeville?
Yeah, it was a Delaville farms.
which I have to recommend highly. And Phil and I are from Alabama, and so we should know a lot about agriculture, but I have to give it up to the people that raise dairy cows and do any kind of farming in the United States.
This was a working dairy farm.
They were the most hospitable and kindest people that we have stayed with in Harvest, with a Harvest Host. And at 9 o'clock, they brought all the cows in and hooked them to milking machines. And this is 9 p.m. And we got to see all of this and all the hard work that they do. I just can't say enough about the American farmer. They just work really, really hard. And we got to see that in practice, staying at the farm. So it was very interesting. We love Harvest Hosts, and everyone that we've stayed at, we've enjoyed. But these people at the farm, at the Dadeville farm, were just so kind. And so you'll be seeing pictures of that. After that, we left and went to another Harvest Host in Auburn, New York. We are now at the Sleepy Hollow Campground in Akron, New York. And yesterday, we spent the day at Niagara Falls.
Yes, we did.
So we hope that you all enjoy these videos. And if you like us, please hit that like button and subscribe. And we will see you on the
next stop.
for the chairman and chief executive officer.
Park, and it's a little fly coming in here. We had
Hello, and welcome to the
hello,
and welcome to the
next stop.
Today we're going to talk about Maine. We started our journey in Booth Bay Harbor, Maine. It was a small town in Maine, but very picturesque.
We're going to continue.